At that time where I was, subscribing 1,000 naira for 1.5 gig per month, and we had no light and all of those challenges around that time. I was very, very broke. That my brothers used to call me intellectual property because there was nothing you could steal from me apart from my brain. So that was the reason why. So that was, just nothing there was other than just carry computer every day and be person. Nothing. When I say nothing. After I got my first job, I had to borrow 20,000 naira from my younger brother to go buy some clothes I could wear into the office. Now, that 20,000 I could not pay at once. I had to pay that 20,000 for 4 months, 5K every month. So those are really low points. My name is Dada Babatunde and I'm a senior software engineer. So actually as a child, I loved playing football as a child. And then at some point I joined the football academy, the Pepsi Football Academy in Ogba, but then I stopped afterwards. But I was quite brilliant in primary school, truthfully. I remember I used to add money staple to my result. I was the only person in the school that used to have that kind of money staple to my results. Highest was 13 naira. 13 naira was really big money at that time. I attended Jebode Grammar School, and as a junior student, there wasn't really much about what you want to be in the future and all that. Just like the normal subjects, math, English. But in secondary school, I was in the hostel, so lots of distractions. Played a lot. I love playing. Cared less about education, but I love playing. GSS1 to GSS3. But then when we're moving to SS1, so I actually had the intention of now becoming a real doctor. Like, okay, I want to study medicine. Like I said, I love playing football. I was playing football with my friends, and then one of my friends got injured. It was really bad, really bad. His toe, everything, all bloody. So the guy was shouting, making noise, crying. So I saw that blood that day. That was actually the day I felt I want to study medicine. Because it was really bloody. I didn't like the sight that day. But I made that decision that day. I was not going to study medicine. But guess what? I still kept on playing football. That one did not stop. What? 2003, 2004. That was around the time internet started becoming a thing. There were cyber cafes, springing up here and there in Jebode. Like I said, I schooled in Jebode. So I think that was like my first real encounter with the computers. We had like a computer lab in school, but you can't just go there and start pressing the computer. They'll flog your head. So we're being taught computer in school there, but you don't have that access to computers. Just in fact, when we are going to the computer lab, then they will line us up like this. Once they call your names, 1, 2, 3, you guys will sit down. They'll just show you, okay, this is the mouse, this is the keyboard, this is the. Are you done? Everybody get out. Next set. So that was how it was then. I don't know now, but that was how it was then. Me and some of my friends would put money together, buy time. That time you buy time, 1 hour or 30 minutes and the rest, and then you have your time with the computer. So it was just before then. There was really nothing I was doing or what we were doing then. And open email addresses. Then I had over 10 email addresses. I was dashing people email address. Get email address. Come, let me give you one. Take this one. Email and password. Be using it. So that was like, it was just really fun going to cyber, just pressing computers and searching for what is not. I'm talking about that then it was just Yahoo, MySpace, and I think i5 came afterwards. And Facebook was not really a thing then actually. Like Facebook, I think for me, Facebook was 2005, 2006 or thereabouts. So that was what we were doing on the computers. Nothing really productive like that. And then the fact that you can actually send a message from Nigeria and then somebody in the UK will see it instantly was really, really big to us. Like, wow. At that point, when I was, after secondary school, when I wanted to now further my education, of course, university, I actually made I made that decision then to study something computer related. Like anything just computer related. Okay, what course is it going to be? Is it going to be computer science? Is it going to be computer engineering? Or I didn't know. But then eventually I made a decision to study computer engineering because it sounded difficult. Yeah. Because computer science then to me sounded like computer science. People go too full. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I always have something. I don't know what to call it. I like doing something that is difficult. Let me just put it that way. Something that is challenging. So I chose computer engineering because I think that one would be more challenging. That was the reason, like no other reason actually. Eventually, when I now got into school, and I realized that computer engineering, I could have just chosen computer science because computer engineering was just a bunch of electrical courses and some other plenty, let me just say jargons. I was not really even into software throughout while I was in school. I was not really interested in software part of computer engineering. My interest was actually in the telecoms part, networking part. And for that reason, while I was in school, I actually enjoyed electrical courses more than computer engineering courses, even though I was a computer engineering student. The only language we were taught in school then, I think it was C or so. Even that C, it was just the lecturer would just come and write some jargons on the board and start telling you print. Every time you just print this one, print that one. At the end of the day, in the exam, the question you will see, you won't even know where they came from. After school and after NYC, basically, now trying to get a placement, a job. Then I realized that for networking and telecoms and the rest, before you can even get like a graduate level job, you still need to now go for some other certifications, CCNA, CCMP, and the rest of them. But for me, at that point, I don't think I would like. It was like no. Now going back, it's not even just about you getting the CCNA. It was not even certain that you were going to get a job. I had a friend that had CCNA at that time. I guess even had CCMP, but with that, he was having challenges getting a job. And then I was seeing most of the job postings that okay, a whole lot of jobs were actually in software compared to telecoms. Like I said, no interest for me. I actually have a friend who went to school together, and we actually stayed in the same area as well. That's in Abule, Lagos. While we were in school, he had already been into software development, not full time really, but a lot. So he had always wanted me to join, learn programming, but I always told him I was not interested. So at that time, when I realized that there are actually more jobs in software than telecom that I was interested in, I said, okay, maybe let me give this software thing a try. Now, for the learning phase, it was very, very, how do I put it now? Not so, not interesting at all, actually. I did not even have a laptop computer, first of all. I had a very small phone, Samsung Mini, one small Samsung Mini phone. And then the area where I stayed, that's Abuleba, our power supply at that area was very, very bad. Like they don't bring lights during the day most of the times. It's always at night. So those challenges were there. But at that point, I was just willing to learn regardless, like any means necessary. These jargons, I would learn it. Okay, so the materials it gave to me, actually some of them were PDF files, some of them were videos. So I put some of them, the PDF files on my small phone, and then the videos, I put some videos as well. I have data to actually download videos. That was another challenge then. So how I used to learn them, because there was no power supply, how I used to learn them was that I would read those PDF materials, and I would I would write the codes, especially the syntaxes, because they were all just new to me. HTML was brand new. Like the tags to me was just less than, greater than, /H1. They were just so new to me. So I'll write them down in the book, and I'll actually cram them. Not because I didn't really understand even how they work then. Actually, like I always want to cram them. Okay, when you want to do this one, this is the one you write. When you want to do this is the one you write, and the rest of them. So I will write that down during the day when there was no light. And then there's this desktop computer that my cousin actually, he gave that to me. But he gave that to me to do whatever I want to do with it. So at night, I would actually, when they bring, sometimes I might even sleep off and they won't bring light. But days that I'm able to wake up and say, oh, there's light, then I'll wake up in the middle of the night to now just try and practicalize those things that are written down inside of the book. Practicalize on the desktop. And the desktop at that time did not even have a UPS. So if they should take the light while I'm doing that, that's it. It's gone. No, without being saved and all that. My elder brother basically just offered that anytime I need data, to just let him know. So he would send me 1,000 naira to buy data. Then 1,000 naira was MTN was 1.5 gig, 1.5 gig, and that's 1 month. And I didn't want to keep disturbing me every time. It sent me another 1K, send me another 1K. So what I always do, I just wanted to minimize it, just 1K per month, because he was working at the bank then as well. So what I would do is, once I have that 1.5 gig, I will just go to YouTube, and download the lowest quality videos, 3.5, like the lowest quality videos, because my phone was really small then. But if there were 60 videos to download, let's say I'll download 20 this month. I'll leave the rest the next month. When I collect another 1,000, I'll download another set of videos. So that was what I was doing then, to get videos from YouTube to learn. What actually, let me say, changed the game for me was when my elder brother and my mom bought me one very ugly laptop like that. Very, very ugly, but very, very efficient at the same time. So they bought me that laptop. Now, why I said that is a game changer for me was now there's mobility. Like I said, my area where I stayed in Abulegba, there was no light. Like, no, not like there was no light, but it was poor. The power supply was poor. Now, that my friend that I told you that we went to school together, he stayed on the other side of the express road. Their own power supply on that end was far better than ours. The moment I had that laptop, I basically wake up in the morning, and once I'm done eating at home, pick up my laptop and then move to my friend's side. So what I actually did then, because I mean, you need to, like, let me say, have a timetable. I actually told myself that I was going to learn 4 hours per day, every single day, Monday to Sunday, 4 hours every day. But now that 4 hours does not have to be 4 straight hours. It could be 30 minutes, 1 hour, but it has to be for every day. I must like learn 4 hours. And I was very, very consistent with it actually. So once I leave home, I will go to his house on the other side of the road. It doesn't even have to be at home. That's just because, I mean, this is where I go to regularly. Anytime I'm studying, then I always put off my data. Like, you can't call me. I can't be distracted. No distraction whatsoever. I always put off my data anytime I want to like learn, so that I can actually focus, because you needed to focus and really, really know what study what you are doing. I was just, let me say, following the courses and learning whatever I could learn. Then I don't think I was really seeing much growth in myself. I was just, this is it. After this course, this is the next course I will go to. I was learning PHP then. I started with HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript, and then I moved to the server side, which was PHP and MySQL. So then I was learning object-oriented programming and how the database worked and the rest of them. So those were the things I was learning. And then I now noticed that after some time, after a couple of months, I was able to start applying to a whole lot more jobs. And I was attending more interviews, even though I was let me say, failing those interviews, but I was attending regardless. So once I go for an interview, and then I'm asked questions, like, it gives me insight into the things I need to be learning. So I'll go back and say, okay, they asked me this, and I failed it. They asked me this, I failed it. And then that would like let me know the things I need to now go start downloading. It's my 1.5 gig per month data. Month after I started learning, that was when I now got now my friend that was learning at his place, at their place of work, they now needed a backend developer. So he told me, I need a backend developer in my office. Just okay, can you apply? I was very, very scared. I didn't want to apply because I mean, he always comes back to tell me stuff that they do. Oh, we work with banks, we do this, we do that. It sounded big to me, but so when the first day he told me, I didn't apply. I told I was going to apply, but then I did not apply because I was feeling like, no, I don't think I'm ready for this kind of, to even go and interview at this company. Then he reminded me, guy, you've not sent your CV. What's going on? Okay, so I said, okay, let me just send it. So I now sent my CV. That was 6 months after I started learning. So I now sent my CV, and then I was invited for the interview. I mean, ironically, he actually interviewed me, but the employer did not even know that we knew each other from anywhere. But it didn't really matter because it was a little project that I was supposed to do. I was given like a project to build a very small application. So I built the application. I mean, I built it, it worked. Maybe interface was very ugly. I was now invited for the one-on-one interview with the MD of the company. I mean, like I said, I didn't want to submit my application first of all. I was very nervous. Now, my friend told me, hey, this is the amount for this role. He actually told me 100K. He told me it's 100K. I was with the MD, and then we started negotiating price. I think first of all, so he actually asked me how many years have I been programming. Hey, I told him 2 years, even though it was actually 6 months. I told him, hey, I've been writing code for the past 2 years. But guess what? I was actually able to live up to that 2 years anyways. But that's a story for another time. So, but I've been programming for 6 months actually. But then I guess maybe the way I actually, let me say, did um my project they gave to me, you didn't really argue about the 2 years. It felt I've been programming for 2 years anyways. So now for my salary, I mean, my friend had given me hints that, hey, guy, it's 100K, but I was not, how would I put it then? I was not experienced enough to stick to 100K. The MD was able to beat me down to 70K, but no problem, no problem. So, but I mean, the 70K then, for somebody who didn't even have a job, was a lot. So I would wake up 4 a.m. Yeah, 4 a.m. I used to wake up 4 a.m. then to leave Abulegba, and I used to get back home an average of 10 p.m., sometimes 11, and still gonna wake up 4 a.m. the next day. My first job, the first 3 days, I need to tell you guys the story. Because, like I said, I didn't want to apply first of all. So, the application they gave to me, very, very crazy application, because they were mad. That was the first time I was seeing thousands of lines of code in my life. I wanted to die. The first day when I saw those codes, I give myself, because I actually resumed on a Wednesday. So I told myself, if by end of Friday I don't understand what's in the code, by Monday they will not see me again in the office. I won't tell anybody. I'll just come to the office on Friday and I'll leave and I won't come back on Monday. I'll just call them and tell them, I'm not doing your work again. You want to kill me. Wednesday, I was looking at the code. I did not understand Jack. Throughout Wednesday, I don't understand Jack. I mean, imposter syndrome. That it was very like I was feeling like I was in the wrong place. Same thing for Thursday. It was actually Friday morning that I was able to actually, you know, when I typed something somewhere and then I refreshed the page. Then I saw it. Oh, that was what I achieved though. I said, oh, okay, I think I know this application now. And that was why they saw me in that office on Monday. I could have just disappeared on that Friday. What I like about tech, or why I enjoy most about the industry, the fact that it's knowledge based, competency based. If you actually, this is not about really, if it is not about, oh, my uncle is the owner of ABCD. I used to tell one of my friends then that all these big men, if not for tech, with all the big money they're paying you, they will not employ. They're going to bring their cousin, their brother. They can't bring your cousin because your cousin doesn't know JavaScript. You understand? Like, it's knowledge based. If you know well, you will earn well. There's nothing they can do about it. If they can do it, they start doing by themselves. They go and get somebody in their family to come and do it. But guess what? They can't do it. Then they don't have a choice. They have to pay you that millions to do it. You get, because you know. And if you know, like, you are very good at what you do, you will go very far without anybody's quote unquote help. Most interesting project I've worked on, I would say, it has to be a project I worked on at my first place of work. It has to do with an integration with a financial institution. So a very big company that works with that financial institution told them that the integration would not be possible. But then my then boss said it was going to be possible. I don't know where he got that goes from, because it was really something very, very quite challenging. So, but eventually we were able to pull it off. Let me just put it that way. It's a very challenging project, but we were able to actually pull it off, and the integration went on successfully. I actually work remotely, so I'm mostly indoors, mostly in my room working. Or worst case scenario, when I'm bored, I move my laptop to the sitting room and then I put on the TV so that me and the TV can be having small conversation. So that's my day. My day is quite boring. I wake up at 7:30 most of the times, actually between 7 and 7:30 actually. We resume at 8, so I wake up around that time and get ready for the day's work. I actually like build features to help capture most of all of this let me say data that is required to make loan recovery more effective. As a backend developer or as a software engineer, I build most of those features like to make them work. Africa as a whole, there's a lot of digital solutions that have not been built, or there's a lot that have not been that they've not even touched at all. We've not even scratched the surface at all in Africa. And the only way, even if you as a person would decide to get into that space, is to learn. Because I won't lie to you, even though I've spent over 5 years in the industry in tech, I still consider myself as a learner. I'm still learning a lot, not just programming now, because you need more than just programming skills to actually excel in the industry. I'm learning some managerial part as well. I mean, building your network and getting to meet people and all that. So my motivation is basically those future plans in terms of building, especially financial solutions. I'm actually very, very interested in financial solutions. I mean, look at what happened when they took out cash in Nigeria. Almost the whole economy almost collapsed because I say we didn't have any fintech in Nigeria, but we have fintech. But I guess let me say, there has been some lapses in the kind of solutions that we have in Nigeria. It's like everyone is just focused on the same customer or same set of customers. That basically like showed how much of things we've not done. So my motivation in tech is basically to learn. I mean, of course, after learning as much as I can learn, get into that space and try and build solutions that can affect lives positively, make life easier, and also make my pocket fatter. The key thing in being a good software engineer might be applicable to other fields as well, but at least I know for software development specifically, it's basically consistency. Just like when you are lifting weights, the weightlifter, if you are consistent with time, your muscles start showing. It's the same with tech. If you can be consistent. Now, our learning ability is quite different. Some people might understand things after reading for just 1 or 2 hours, but some might take them 1 or 2 days to understand things. But then, if you are consistent as a learner, over time, by your another person's 6 months journey might take you 1 year. But guess what? In 1 year, I mean, you would have learned something. It's just consistency. If you can have, it doesn't have to be even like you do it like a whole lot every day. You can just say, okay, I want to be doing 1 hour per day. But then what you just have to make sure is that tomorrow you do another 1 hour, and the day after that, and the day after that. It's not like even if you don't have a background in science or you are not a genius, but if you can be consistent with time, those things that probably you learned the first day and then you've forgotten after some days, you will still be able to relearn them. And I mean, after you've learned and relearned, to stick. Tech influencers, they are pushing the industry to make it look like some money spinning industry. I think that needs to be, I mean, tuned down a little bit. I think that's where the whole tech bro name came from. I think it's only in Nigeria that they usually use that term, tech bro. I don't even know where they got that from. And it's really affecting some people who are just learning, who are trying to get into the industry. They are beginning to they have the money in their heads, not the knowledge. And that's going to affect them, because when you start learning tech and then the first 1 or 2 years, you are not earning a particular amount, you start thinking that maybe they say there's money inside this thing. And actually, it doesn't come fast like that. But if it's being projected as a knowledge-oriented industry, like if it's been seen as a knowledge-based occupation, knowledge-based first, not money-based,